guy. I think you're the guy who's like, I didn't cry on this, and I cry, and I think that guy is gonna come very quickly. He has a little more of a mixed group, different. Do you see where I'm at?
How quickly do you think he'll come?
I think he will come in a matter of seconds.
It happens.
No, but do you understand?
Now, speaking of women and films about women, we have seen a lot this fall. We just talked about Die My Love and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So, listener, Mia and I were supposed to go see Hamnet the day after Thanksgiving, and I bailed because I was burnt out on sadness. Mia, you went to see it, and then I saw it a couple days ago. There's a lot to talk about here, but so
I remember when you canceled and you were like, I can't do it. I was like, do you want me to tell you if it's good? Like, I remember thinking, like, I'm surprised he said he wanted to go see this so quickly, because it rang like, it rang very specific.
Tell me, what was your experience watching it?
First off, I love period dramas. So I was excited to see it. And one of the things I go into period dramas thinking is not that I'm going to love every one of them, but my heart opens, I become emotionally available to the characters for their influence. And as long as they can win me over, I'm good. And not every one of them wins me over. And so for this film, to be or not to be is going to be the question. Because I thought this film had some ingredients that could have made it really enjoyable.
It does.
But it doesn't really use those ingredients very well.
So were you, in the first hour or so, watching this film, we know what it's about. It's a historical document. We know that there's going to be a death. So were you drawn in at first? Were you?
I was drawn in. I was willing at first, because you know what? When you do period dramas, all of the leading women have got to be strong women. And when I say strong, I mean they hold opinions. They are rooted in who they are. Right. They are usually a little offbeat from the rest of the town. And we had that with Aunt. We have that character there. And so the minute they're kind of showing her hanging out in the woods, I was like, okay, I get it. She's a little off the beaten path. And I was just hoping that they wouldn't make her just weird as fuck. Yep. You don't want to do that. You just want to you don't want to make her so weird that she seems like she's tone deaf. Yeah. And that can almost come off like she's lacking empathy or care for the people around her. If you look at a lot of the period dramas, these women understand the world they live in. They're frustrated by some of the rules, but they understand what exists there, and it makes them not look stupid. Right. And when you get a character who's so rebellious and so kick at it, sometimes it just comes off stupid. Yeah. This is not a period where you're going to be cast out from your family and move to New York City and go and yeah.
No, you're right. There are very few second chances.
No, there's not.
If you died in childbirth, if you had a child out of wedlock,
right?
I mean, what did you think about that? The fact that they had sex before they got married, and
man, that was rough. And you know, I know purists who were like watching Bridgerton and were like, no,
like that would never happen,
right? Because Bridgerton's saucy. Right. I mean, it's saucy, but they put it in the right places, and it isn't so intense because it's so much camp to it that you're like, all right, whatever, I'll get it.
The show knows what
the show's yes,
right.
But when you are doing a more serious piece, at this time period, for a woman to have sex with someone she's not married with, it's usually a sign that the man does not respect her. He does not really care about her reputation. He doesn't care about her family. I want you to think about it this way. We have porn. We've had Playboy. We've had the internet. We have our friends.
Helpful.
We talk about sex. This is a time period where a lot of women are they're not getting an understanding of what sex really involves until the marital time, like until they're getting married.
Right.
So they're fucking on the kitchen table.
Yeah.
That is, I found that a little bit like, okay, first off, it was hot, but then you're just like, it made them as a couple look less devoted than they wanted. It made them look impulsive.
Well, speaking of that, it kind of rushes through their first chapter, and then we got kids right away.
Yeah, you have a mistaken identity moment, which I love. Who are you? I saw you. But you're also not sure why he's so obsessed with her, because she hangs out in the woods.
The film didn't do that work really.
No, they didn't. They just wanted them on that table for that scene.
Well, honestly, what I think is that Chloe Zhao, she just wanted to get to the grief. The grief scenes are so extended, they seem to be the only thing that the director is interested in. I don't think she was interested in who these people were. You don't hear a goddamn lick of Shakespeare for like a fucking hour.
No, I was
most
like...
of this film, I thought, this didn't have to be about Shakespeare.
Oh, agreed. Which there's a lot of films that kind of do a pseudo type of Shakespeare, right? This one, the other issue I had is a lot of times when you have a romance between two characters, period drama, there's obstacles all the time to them actually coming together. And a lot of times it's class related. I did not understand the class distinction here. He's clearly working for her family to pay off a debt. Right. How did she become so low that he couldn't have stooped to marry within to her family? I couldn't figure out what made him better or what made her so worse.
From the mother's bias against witchery. She doesn't like witches. By the way, I thought of your phrase whore talk, because she was doing so much witch talk. I give you 3, I give you 30. I'm like, oh, this is witch talk. We're getting some witch talk right
now. Yeah, it's sexy. He was like, oh, I couldn't have married anybody better.
He was into it. But the film does sort of rush through that, and we get right to her resentment. Okay, so here's an absent father, and here's a mother who also... Would Shakespeare have married someone who doesn't give a shit about theater? Why would you marry a playwright if you fucking hate London and you hate him and you hate, like...
You watch some of the period dramas that come out of that Catherine Cookson, like, library.
Sure. Yeah.
This, to me, kind of fits there.
Right.
But it's something where there's some realistic elements about what it means when your husband is off at theater and you have kids of a certain age. Let me be clear. In those movies, some of those kids are already working.
Totally agree.
They are already working. Sure. So the fact that they're putting on plays and sword fighting in the back, I was like, whoever's making this is not their genre.
Right.
Like, this is too far from their genre because with their poverty level, with the needs of the home, with the class structure. I mean, I think we get an idea that he's like some sort of a skilled worker from a family of a skilled worker.
Yeah.
That son would be already learning that trade. Those daughters would already be gearing up for trade. I just thought this looks way too the American dream, picket fence.
Idyllic.
Yeah. And then once those little stories started running, I'm like, when are the kids gonna get sick?
Right.
When are people gonna die?
And so, we're gonna talk about death scenes in a second, but we have to talk about birth scenes. There are 3 in this film.
Wait, I'm so sorry.
3. And at the first one, I wrote this note: could we please never show a childbirth scene again?
You don't like it?
Because it just feels disingenuous. It feels like it's different for every woman. It feels like it's always too fast. So the first one is she has the older child in the woods alone.
Oh, that shit cracked me up.
Talk about it.
Can I tell you that shit?
But that's me, and I'm a guy totally outside of this experience. But how does that land on you, a woman, seeing her just like
for the time period,
her yoga poses, and then pops out a baby by a tree?
For that time period, I wasn't like mad because I've heard stories where women, teenagers, never grown women, teenagers, pregnant, giving birth to babies in a toilet. You know, like there's a dynamic where I'm like, women can give birth just about anywhere. But for somebody who seems so concerned about her children living, I was struggling with her her desire to go off and do it alone in that way. You know, I know she wanted her herbal medicine.
That's right.
Her herbal remedies. But I also think that's something she could have discussed a little bit more clearly with her her mother-in-law, but she
Yes.
clearly is on my Reddit no mother-in-laws for her delivery room.
I was just looking up the maternal mortality rate for the 1600s. This is only one in England, only 1 to 1.7%. I would have thought it to be higher then.
No.
There's also we're going to talk about kids dying. It was really touching how Emily Watson told that story that she lost 3 of her children.
Yeah.
Later on to death, and obviously Anne Hathaway, who in this film is Agnes, who is Shakespeare's wife, has had a vision that there will be 2 children in her deathbed, which is why she becomes shocked that she's delivering twins.
Yeah.
How did that second childbirth land with you?
This is where I got exhausted with it because, quite frankly, there were so many other bricks that needed to get laid in the other parts of the storytelling that I was like, are we really about to spend all day with her, fighting with everybody to give birth, the water flooding in? None of that. It all seemed to be this build up for nothing other than for her to give birth and the kids to live.
Right.
I found it, like I said, when I thought about what this director was doing, she wanted to make a very pretty and very dramatic and compelling piece. She did not want to shy away from difficult parts of a woman's life. I really just thought, she just didn't really think about the genre that her product was going to sit with.
I think that's an excellent comment. Her filmography includes, starting in the 2010s, Songs My Brothers Taught Me, The Writer, of course the breakout hit Nomadland, and then Eternals, which even she said in a podcast at DGA last week, she did Nomadland, Eternals back to back, and then she took years, and she had kind of a midlife crisis. Eternals was not the right thing, but so with these genre, let's talk about genre. That's a great point. So remember Nomadland with
I do with what's her name?
Frances McDormand.
Yes.
Would we say that? I know that this is a period difference between these two, but are there any genre similarities between these two? People living up?
No, it's not. But it is about these more hard-hitting women. I think there's a similarity to the types of characters that she wants to show. A little more gritty, a little more I go by my own rule type characters.
Right.
I don't have a problem. I like the archetype. I really do. Yeah. I just feel like for this film, you're telling us about someone who is in a family grief. And you didn't really build the family in a way that allowed me to grieve with them.
Great point.
Even with William Shakespeare's, being gone, he just read a trucker daddy,
a
traveling salesman.
And we have to take a break in a second. But what was the decision that she made, Chloe Zhao, to not include Shakespeare being Shakespeare for the first 2/3 of the film?
Now, this is based on a book, okay? And I think that the book was very popular and people loved it. I just feel because here was my thing. I think when I looked it up, she also did the editing. Now, if she hadn't have done the editing, I would have been okay, fine. But the fact that she did the editing, I did this. So you were comfortable with just taking a book and maybe flopping it into a movie? I don't think you should do that. Yeah. I always think that the books should be their own thing, and a film is a very different thing, and I just think she didn't know when to break from her source material.
Right. Great point. Well, we're going to get to the core grief in this film right after this break. Are about 10 and maybe 6. How old are the twins? I forget how old they are when
They're 25, Joey. They're 25. They have yet to get a job.
That's how 25 years is about.
They're still on their parents' health care.
Right. So the plague comes for England. The plague came for countries at a lot of different times. I remember us talking about Oslo, and the plague was in the late 1330s in that city. Now we're at 1601, so, we'll do plague history in a different podcast, but a daughter gets the plague. we think that she's going to die, and of course Chloe Zhao can't help herself. Let's give the daughter a bunch of sick scenes. Oh, is the daughter dead? No, it was like a death fake out scene.
Yeah.
The boy, in a touching gesture, kind of sleeps next to her and with her because they're twins. They've been, besties their whole life. He gets the plague and dies pretty fast, and you have the longest, most indulgent death scene and death reaction and grief scream.
Now, Joey, I'm going to stop you because I'm like, we act like we hadn't seen the preview.
Yeah.
What were you doing? Were you thinking, is the daughter going to die too? Like,
I only saw it for this podcast. I didn't want to see this movie. No, but I mean.
No, but were you sitting there like, I wonder what's going to happen? Like, I at no point felt that. I'm like, oh, here's another scene where they're surprised, but I'm not.
No, what I'm conveying is not surprise. It's criticism at her indulgence at the length of the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because, again, like Die My Love, it felt like an actor's workshop. It felt like, and if you listen to Chloe Zhao, and if you see her, she obviously wears no makeup. She did No Man Land.
Yeah.
She's into naturalism. And
He's like, she wore no makeup.
No, but that's it is part and parcel with her philosophy.
She's natural, yeah.
She's natural. She's very naturalistic. In fact, one of the things I wrote down is that I think as a filmmaker, she's just too natural for me. She's so natural that the natural world lives, but the human world is a bit minimized. So it feels like she was directing Jessie Buckley, who loves to play sad, just be unrestrained. And she talks about in interviews that scream that Jessie Buckley gives was not in the script. So this is a performer who relishes, and I might not say that she enjoys
pulls from the depths of her soul, Joey, her performance. He's like,
and yes, it was horrifying, but there's some point where it's so indulgent it goes past being moving, and then it becomes grating. Did that happen with you at all?
No, I felt like the bad boyfriend where I'm like, your tears mean nothing to me.
Oh,
like where they're like, oh, he didn't even care. I was crying. I felt like
you were observing how you weren't that moved at all.
I wasn't. And, because it was, how do I say this?
Over the top, indulgent, over-directed?
What would have moved me is if I could see a more human interaction between the parents and the child. So when I'm seeing this picket fence child play moment, I personally get pulled out of that. There are some films that when the kids pass, you saw that there was a relationship with the parents that was, it's complicated, but it's sincere. In other words, let's say she was playing an overbearing mother and you had a daughter who was just as, spunky. By the time she's sick, we would have all felt something. That moment where sometimes moms are right when they're overbearing, that moment of like, being young and wanting to do your own thing is, if I had seen that, maybe I would have been like, when she was dying, like, oh my God, like this was an extension of what she was like, but she's now, in other words, like you deal with the haunting element of your own childhood. Right. If I had that, I would have been like, this said Great something. Point. But when I'm seeing them play with swords and just act like there's something so detached, the parents are it's so precious and it's so much of a freaking car commercial. I don't get into that. I really don't. When I think back, there's a really bizarre film I think it's called The Dwelling Place. And is it The Dwelling Place? Yeah. And it's a woman who's now playing a mom to all of her siblings. Right. And they have to go to work and they have to do things. And she's got one of the sisters who's always into mischief. And by the time she gets in trouble and she needs her help and she's got she's got to trade out very important things from her life, it means something to you. Right. When the kids are so okey doke, it's like they're cartoons.
Yeah, kind of rushed through.
Yeah, it's like I didn't feel anything when I say I didn't feel anything for the kids, I didn't feel nothing for the kids. Yeah. Okay, so maybe, let me ask you this. I'm not the biggest person who's like jazzed about child actors all the time either. So I'm sorry if but to sell a child actor to me or to sell that character to me, I need personality. I need them to
Great
be
point.
a person. And if they are just a okey doke mirror, I'm just like,
Which is why now could be the perfect moment to talk about how one of the biggest executive producers for the film is the director that most people in Hollywood have said is the best at directing children, which is Steven Spielberg. If you look at E.T., Close Encounters, Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds, these are great child performances that for some reason don't want to make you pull your hair out. They have personality, they have great lines, they have spunk, they're well directed.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes is another executive producer. So at what point is Mr. Spielberg watching these cuts and saying, you've got it, Chloe, this is right, you're in the right direction, you've directed these kids well?
I don't think it's an artistic review of their work. I think it's a business review of their work. I don't think when I'm starting to see these names show up where, you know, these big names you're calling out, I'm like, this is business. Yeah. This is somebody who's like, here's the next torch going to the next generation, and I'm going to pass it to her. She should get into this line just as much as any man, right? Yeah. Like, I see it as like that thing. I don't see it as like him trying to hold some sort of creative or artistic view on what they're doing. It's just like she's got the chops. I even read, you know, one of her teacher's mentors was Spike Lee. Yeah. And she was like, I liked having Spike Lee. He's going to tell you the truth. I mean, that was her vibe. And I was like, huh.
Did you attend class?
Wait, which class? I remember that auditorium was quite empty most of the weeks. And I think she talks about like what she was really like as a student. And I was like, he's going to tell you the truth. I'm like, look, I went to art school. That doesn't mean he like co-signs
everything
what your work is. But I noticed that's to me branding. Yeah, it's branding, and it's getting us to trust.
About the film was the producers, because the name is so big. So you're right. That is probably a gesture more of endorsement of
business.
Opening, business. Yeah.
Business. It's like, yeah, he did this. Wait, do I get a check for this? And they said, yes,
but
you do.
Think that maybe he did some mentorship as well?
I think no. I'm going to tell you something. Really a lot of times when, because, I work in the fashion industry, and I remember working for a few brands through CFDA.
What's CFDA?
CFDA is this like program in which they give grants and money for fashion artists and businesses starting, but they also put you in what's called an incubator, and they feed mentors in. Cool. And when I tell you, some of these mentors will come in and it's like they're just going to give you their quick advice. I mean, they've got busy lives and they've got shit they're doing, and they're like, I'm supposed to stop off at Mia's place. And then they're just going to speed through. They're going to look through your work. They're going to tell you, well, what people are looking for to give you money is they want to see that you have this, this, and this. Right. That's the mentorship. Yeah. And then they're out. And it's not as much of like, it's not like school where it's like, I see something here with you. Why don't we talk about your work? And why don't we, in my mind, it can be as much or as little. In this case, I think it was as little. It was business. And it was meeting her once.
It sure certainly feels that way. I mean, I was just looking up at who Ava DuVernay considers her mentors, and the first one that she even talked about in an Instagram post was Steven Spielberg. And her films have much more balance and heart. Again, it's like you say, though, it's not like the mentee is going to just produce films like the mentor. You have no idea how much time they're spending together,
No.
But let's talk about the production a bit. She's so naturalistic. I felt like there was almost no cinematography. There was no art in the framing. It was tons of close-ups. It was lots of squares. It was just an angle from a high tree. Did you have any thoughts on the production? Did any of that?
Okay, so here's my thoughts. It felt visually very Saving Private Ryan, very grays and browns, and grainy, very muted and neutraled. And I have noticed that when you do films like from this era, the glossier it looks, the more the stage pops and the more the characters pop. So you look at Shakespeare in Love, for instance. Right. You still have those like neutrally colors, but it feels quite gold and braided and you see Gwyneth Paltrow's like hair and you're just like, this is fun. But I think she went natural on this, and quite frankly, that meant that her dialogue and some of the other things needed to pop better. I just feel like if you're going to go that gray, it needs to touch me. But imagine if Saving Private Ryan kind of just showed up blowing up people. No, this sounds awful, but you know what I mean? Killing people you don't care about.
Yeah.
And you're just like, when did we get to Private Ryan?
Sure.
And then you're doing this. Well, I know he makes it out.
Yeah.
I don't really care about these other guys. That's a different movie.
It is, and it's such a burden historically with tales that are known, and that's I wish I could have seen this without knowing the plot, basically, which we know because of the story, because of the novel, because of the buzz from the festivals, that type of thing.
I mean, think about when Kenneth Branagh does
right.
I mean,
sure.
he's gonna give you something ice frosty and beautiful, or he's gonna give you color and give the characters their spark. And I do think that to me it's not about like maybe she didn't want to go obvious, but something about Shakespeare. The dialogue is somewhat unusual to us for every day.
For sure, yeah.
But the visuals and how the characters kind of show up help us understand kind of their personality.
Yeah.
And in this case, like I said, I everything was so gray.
Yeah,
it just sat darker and darker with the tone.
The only color was the hair frosting on the actor who played Hamlet at the end, which was intentionally kind of
very hopeful. Very two-tone treatment, 5 hours in the chair.
Oh my gosh, right?
But also, like, okay, think about it this way. It's like when you're gonna go that neutral, give me something. You said, hey, we didn't even hear no Shakespeare lines until later. Give me something they said that actually touched you or did anything. It's flat. I'm sorry. I think she hung too close to that source material,
totally
and
I don't know that, but
she needed to lift it in a way that a lot of times with period dramas, you're pulling from novels. You have to lift it. That's where you see Sense and Sensibility just like still steal people's heart for decades to come. I mean, the dialogue is so natural for the era, but it's also memorable for who we are now.
Right.
I'm sorry. This to me was another one of those films that it's just pretty to look at. And when you see it as an Oscar nominated moment, you're going, well, I guess that one's good.
I mean, it does feel very, very Oscar-y.
Yes.
I did not find it pretty to look at. I thought the production design was solid. I think the costumes are fine. I think the era is very difficult. Man, am I glad not to be alive 400 years ago. Everything's dirty.
You didn't like
everything's gross.
You
Everybody
wouldn't
looks
want that?
horrible with their bad clothes. I mean, it's a tough period, I think. This isn't like pirates swashbuckling, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
This isn't ancient Roman gladiators and beautiful laurel wreaths.
You're thinking athlete's foot.
That's kind of what it feels like. And the way she shot it, too, was just so artless. But I also think that's how she does things. They're kind of artless. That's what she's... Yeah. If you just listen to her talk, she's like on another planet, how zen and cosmic and everything is energy. And, she took this hike through the woods and she found the hole that's in the film.
When I saw these spots, I was like thinking about all those, like, those people who have to do those locations and like find them. I was like, okay, she had some really cool people for this, but quite honestly, that's not why I go see movies. That's why I would look at a pretty picture but I don't go see movies just to see the picture. Right. I want to see and it's not just I want to see a story that grips me. This one's not going to last over the decades.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The other thing that really pissed me off was either the writing or the performance to make Agnes an absolute bitch once she lost her son. It seemed to me that she was so the way that Jessie Buckley played this, she seemed like I know we don't quite agree on this. She seems like a person who doesn't like society. She didn't seem like she really liked her husband all that much. She totally castigates him for she says the most evil things to him after their son have died. So my question to you is going to be, are we going to scapegoat grief and say, well, that's what can happen in grief. You can be a total C to your husband. I just totally disconnected with the movie and was just waiting for it to end at that point. I didn't know if it was historically accurate. I don't know if that's what people do in grief, because I could never do that to another person. I just lost it when she turned on him.
I like that you said historically accurate, because I definitely think they had the same experiences that we have in modern day when they lose children. And by the time, who did the song at the end? By the time Max Richter. Oh, because I went to go see.
I shouldn't say it like that.
I went to go see Madame.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, he's great. But by the time that song was coming on, I'm like, oh, they want me to cry now?
It was so contrived and forced. And first of all, I am a huge advocate of new film composition. Max Richter did the other score. He should have done a new piece for this. On the Nature of Daylight has been used. It has been played. That felt more student film. Oh, I'm so moved by this song.
Right. And we talked about it. It's in The Arrival. Same thing. Where it's like, if you knew you were going to lose a child, would you have a child? And I felt like there was some similar grief tones, but The Arrival is awesome.
I know.
I mean, anytime it comes on, I can just watch it all the way through. I don't care where it starts.
Piece. I know.
And when his music's playing in that film, it just matches. Instead of it trying to tell me feel intensely, it's just matching the feelings and the intensity of it. Right. And I just felt like with this, they were like, that'd be a good song to have.
Because I'm trying to think whose role this is. I mean, the editor has a huge role to play, but there's also a producer role who has their hand on the director's shoulder and saying, here's how this is landing to me. Are you sure this is the direction that you want for audiences, focus groups, things like that? I don't know how any.
I think they said follow the source material. Follow the source material. We have an audience for it. They love
that's where
this
I
book.
don't know. I mean, was Shakespeare's wife totally not into theater? Doesn't sound historically accurate to me. Would she never have gone to London until the son died? Doesn't sound accurate to me.
Actually, I can see those. I can see some of it. I just can't see how they got together this way. I can't see them holding these like feelings for one another in this way. I can't see them. I just see it being very, very different from this. This is dramatized, and I don't really see. I can see it being very loosely based, and I went in and colored in a lot of this, and maybe painted some lines.
For sure. Especially about the emotional interiority. That's what I could find just with some quick searching about the historical accuracy of this film. Is that a lot of the events are accurate, but the emotional inner lives, that's not done. That's really just maybe the novelist. I don't know if that's in the novel.
Right.
And like you, I've heard people praise the novel for how amazing it is. So
novels are different.
Absolutely.
Novels are different.
After all of this consternation and what I thought was not a great filming style and the shameless use of music and the really twisting the female character so that she was largely unlikable, the ending still got me. So this is a spoiler warning. Leave us and come back if you don't want it spoiled. Okay, so at the ending, this is when he's mounting Hamlet, which, as we know,
Hamlet?
Well,
is he similar to Hamnet?
Well, Hamlet you have with rye and Swiss, and Hamnet you use to catch minnows. They're interchangeable, blah, blah. So we get to this scene where Jessie Buckley is finally in London, which she fucking hates because she hates society, and she's feeling like everybody's prickly. Has she never seen a play before? They're having her call out to the actor. Like, this is all ridiculous. However, Shakespeare is watching his wife, watching this boy whose name is Hamlet, and it really frames this prism where these grieving parents are watching a created version of their son. That's the metaphor. I mean, I was inconsolable. A couple other people in my theater were inconsolable. I was restraining sobs. I was really moved, even after I had such conflicting feelings. So I know how you felt throughout. How did you feel during the ending?
I didn't feel the way you felt. Because when she starts reaching her hand,
no tears.
I was doing this. This is another one of those people interrupting the performance at your Broadway show.
Yep,
there was something where she, once again, there's something very checked out about her.
Yes.
Like just when you do a kind of historical character that we all want them to not be stupid. We do want them to understand that the world that they live in is the world that they live in. So when she shows up to that theater and the performance is happening and he's like, oh, and she's like, oh my God. I'm like, All right, how much
Yes.
longer is in this
I hear
movie?
that.
I
Yeah.
know I get the crying, I really do, but
Well,
no,
part of it
I'm
is a
sorry.
physical and emotional response to a film. So if you think about Saving Private Ryan, by the time you get to the end, you are exhausted. I mean, truthfully, you were exhausted after the first set piece, that 20-minute Beach of Normandy, hellscape.
Oh yes, that has you
So
like
you
holy
are,
fuck.
I mean,
I hope they make it.
so even at the end of this, I didn't love the film, and I was loving and hating it kind of throughout. By the end, I was just so exhausted. And she's taken us through the death of this child. Yes,
Right.
she wrung that sponge for every tear. She was not a subtle director in
Right.
that way. And yet at the end, part of it is I was moved by the beauty of the language. Finally, we get to hear some Shakespeare in this
Right.
fucking Shakespeare movie. And I
Right.
know it's about
No,
the
no, no,
wife,
no. That was
and it's not about
fun.
him. But this story is... I was going to say the story is only interesting because it is Shakespeare. That's a terrible thing to say.
No,
Because
no, it's not.
but I mean, that's why this woman wrote this novel. It's
What
like,
is it called? It's called Hamlet. I'm sorry, it's called Hamnet.
Hambet.
Hambet. It's called something.
Oh, you know what? Ham slut would be really
Ham.
fun. Hey, Horatio.
No, but it's like at the end of the day, we're all seeing it going, oh, this is how
I mean,
Hamlet was made.
That's the claim to fame, how Hamlet was made. So, did the language move you at all?
I was a cold-hearted snake. I was such a cold-hearted
What
snake.
if we had seen this together? I would have been, like your sleep
I would
would
have. You would have saw me kind of.
drowned in my tears.
No, I would have accepted your tears. I wouldn't
You
have
would
been like, "What
would
the
you have-
fuck are you crying
Would you have
about?"
captured a few and worn it in a
Or
vial
passed
around
you
your neck?
a napkin in like frustration, like, "Please wipe that shit." No, I
use
wouldn't have
napkins.
felt that
I
way.
use a handkerchief.
You, I'm sorry, your handkerchiefs. No, but I honestly was like, okay, I saw it.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad I saw it. I wasn't
Right.
feeling like, robbed or anything.
Yeah.
I just gave it a shot. I
Gave it a
go
shot.
in with an open heart, and if they're able to move me, I let them move me. It
Yeah.
didn't move me.
Right.
And if I had really thought about the director, I might have just decided to watch this from home. I didn't need a big screen for
We
it.
should have. We should have watched on our phones on the train.
No.
Let me ask you, Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor are having huge moments. They are, as Timmy Chalamet has been, what some critics have called overexposed. They're in so many films these days. Mescal made his huge kind of Hollywood breakthrough with Gladiator 2. What do we want from him next? Do you want to see him in more stuff?
No, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very freaking honest. Can I say
See you later,
something?
Paulie.
And I date short men, but he always reads to me like 5'7".
Wait, is he not sexy to you in any way?
I don't really feel like I did see him in Gladiator. Once again, not moved by his performance for that.
No, that was not good for
I did, I saw him in The History of Sound.
Yes. Slow.
And it's
Painful.
slow. I love the music of that. I enjoyed feeling very musical watching it. I just think there's something about his acting style that I was like, I'll never be moved by. It has something to
Okay.
do with how he engages with the people he's playing
Yeah.
in scenes with. He doesn't seem to be affected by what they're saying. He seems to always be in his own world and with his own plan.
Interesting.
And it's the same here for me. He
Yeah.
just Jessie Buckley does really great, I think, at being intense, but he just seems to be in his own world.
own
And
world.
when he when he listens, he's not really listening. He's just waiting to say his lines.
Right.
He doesn't let who's in the room affect him.
Yeah.
Regardless of the line. And that's hard to do, but it really is, I think, something where I'm like, I probably will never feel romantically like open to what he's doing.
Right.
If
Okay.
they yeah.
So this is already on the short list for awards. It's already won some, and it will be because the Oscars do the 10 Best Picture nominations. It'll be one of those.
I thought it was
It'll be
20.
One battle. What's that?
Thought it was 20.
You never know. You never know. Might be. So you're part of the 10,000 person voting member group of the Academy. Would you nominate this for any awards?
I feel like I would feel compelled to, and I really do think her style is very clear. Like, she has a very clear brand and a clear style. I probably would try to do something for a director, not a best film, but a director. I don't think she should hang out in period dramas.
Okay.
I don't think that's what she should do. And I think she should get her storytelling down. Sorry. But
I agree.
Nomadland is mostly, to me, carried by its leading actress. And other than that, I'm sorry.
Let me tell you, I think that we're living in a world now today where I would be surprised if she did not win Best Actress. I do not think it should go to her, but the buzz is around her, Renata Reinsva from Casual Encounters, also known as Sentiment of Value, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked for Good, which will not be reviewed on this little podcast of ours, and Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs. So those are the 4 buzzes right now. You've got other stuff like Emma Stone, Chase Infinity, Amanda Seyfried, Kate Hudson, but those also could be supporting. So it feels like it might be Jessie Buckley's to lose, just given this context.
Can I be honest? I don't think she did anything to me that
I agree.
That I write home about, or I have other friends who watch period dramas. I didn't even leave the movie and be like, go check this out.
Even for its period in general. Yeah.
No.
Right.
No.
We are going to be reviewing the Academy buzz as well as the nominations when they come out in late January. Mia, let me tell you what we have coming up. We're almost to the end of the year here. We've got a couple more things to talk about. There's Jake Kelly on Netflix, the Noah Baumbach picture with George Clooney and Adam Sandler. I know that your skin is burning with anticipation for Avatar: Fire and Ash. I know that things are fiery. We have the Will Arnett kind of comedy drama directed by Bradley Cooper, Is This Thing On? We've got Goodbye June, which is the directorial debut of someone.
Kate Winslet? Is it
Kate Winslet?
Yeah.
Yes. Listener, we had a great conversation where I said, people's first debuts aren't great, and then we brainstormed a list of like 20 great debuts.
Yes.
So I went ahead and sat down. We're hearing really buzzy things about Marty Supreme with Timothée Chalamet, and I happen to be a ping pong player myself. And then, of course, there's Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice and Jim Jarmusch's father, mother, sister, brother. So
can I say something
please.
Too? I'm starting to see really exciting films that come out between February and April, where that used to not be the release time, but I'm finding that time of the year, those are movies I'm actually enjoying. Those people don't seem to be chasing awards, but they do seem to have something that is worth saying. So
yeah, I agree.
There's part of me that's like, yes, Oscar season, and then there's another part of me that's like, I'm looking forward to films that just aren't chasing an Oscar.
I'm really with you.
And I'm seeing a list, and every time I'm like, oh, that's out in February, or oh, that's out in March, and I'm like Wuthering Heights. They're doing a remake of Wuthering Heights, and I'm like, I'm like, that looks fun.
Looks so much fun. Also, speaking of Jessie Buckley, you know what looks fun? Is The Bride, about the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
I am more excited about that than about
Hamnet. And Wuthering Heights, I think they're going to give us some sex. I think they're going to give us lots of fucking. Yes. And I'm like, but do you see how the director is going to make it feel like it fits, and it isn't something that I'm looking forward to that. And I was so surprised what's coming out at the end of the year. I'm like, am I caring as much about the Oscars? Is it really as important to me as it used to be?
Yeah, I know. This is a big ongoing conversation. And
here's a handkerchief.
I was on a kind of a film distribution association call on Friday, and of course we were talking about the big news of the potential Netflix Warner Brothers deal, but most of the call was about awards campaign financing and how these poor directors, like the Chloe Zhao's of 10 years ago before she was attached to Mendes and Spielberg, you might spend $100,000 on your film. That might be all you have, and you might have to spend another $100 just to get it into festivals and to get awards, so that you can then get it out to more places. So the whole thing is a really tough position for independent filmmakers, and I agree with you. I don't love all the awards buzz. I might have enjoyed Hamnet more if I hadn't seen a bunch of headlines about it maybe being Best Picture, because then there's all this attendant pressure around it.
Yeah.
But anyway, stay with us. We've got a lot to review before the year is out on Do You See What I Mean?